What if the real problem isn't that you're tired? What if it's that you've built a life that constantly makes you want to escape it? Think about it. Every Friday, millions of people celebrate because the week is finally over. Every Sunday night, anxiety quietly returns. We count down the days until the next vacation, the next holiday, the next break, always waiting for a moment when we can stop living the life we've created. But have you ever asked yourself why? Why do so many successful people still feel trapped? Why do people with good jobs, comfortable homes, and impressive achievements still wake up feeling empty? Maybe success isn't the opposite of misery. Maybe success without purpose is just a more comfortable prison. The goal of life isn't to build something you constantly need a vacation from. The goal is to build a life that feels meaningful on an ordinary Tuesday morning. Today, we're going to explore how to build a life you don't want to escape from. Not by chasing perfection, but by making choices that align with who you truly are. Most people believe the answer to a better life is escape. We tell ourselves that if we can just make it to the weekend, everything will feel okay. We count the days until the next vacation, the next holiday, the next promotion, or the next big purchase. We become experts at surviving instead of living. We start measuring our happiness by how quickly we can get away from our responsibilities, rather than by how meaningful those responsibilities actually are. Think about how often people say, "I just need a break." At first, that sounds completely reasonable. Everyone needs rest. Everyone needs time to recover. But when you find yourself constantly searching for the next escape, it's worth asking a deeper question. Are you escaping because you're tired? Or are you escaping because the life you've built doesn't feel connected to who you really are? There's a big difference between needing rest and needing an entirely different life. Many people spend years chasing a version of success that was never truly their own. They choose careers because they're considered respectable. They make decisions because they're expected to. They compare themselves to people on social media who seem happier, wealthier, and more successful. Slowly, almost without noticing, they begin building a life based on someone else's definition of winning. Then one day, they look around and realize they have everything they thought they wanted, yet they still feel empty. The problem isn't that they failed. The problem is that they succeeded at pursuing goals that never reflected their deepest values. Success feels rewarding only when it moves you closer to a life that matters to you. Without that connection, every achievement becomes temporary. The excitement fades, and you're left searching for the next milestone, hoping it will finally fill the space inside you. It rarely does. Purpose changes the way you experience ordinary moments. When you know why you're doing something, even difficult work becomes meaningful. Challenges stop feeling like pointless obstacles and start becoming part of a larger journey. The same task can feel exhausting when it lacks purpose and energizing when it serves something you genuinely care about. The work itself may not change, but your relationship with it changes completely. This is why two people can have similar jobs, similar incomes, and similar opportunities, yet experience completely different levels of fulfillment. One person spends every day waiting for the clock to reach 5. The other finds satisfaction in contributing, learning, growing, or helping others. The difference isn't always found in the circumstances. Often, it's found in the meaning attached to those circumstances. It's easy to assume that purpose is something extraordinary, reserved for people who start global companies, write best-selling books, or change the world. But purpose isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's found in being the kind of parent your children can rely on. Sometimes it's found in creating honest work that improves someone else's day. Sometimes it's found in learning, teaching, building, serving, or simply becoming a better version of yourself. Purpose doesn't have to impress the world. It only has to matter deeply to you. The challenge is that purpose requires honesty. It asks uncomfortable questions. What truly matters to you? Which parts of your life feel authentic, and which parts are performances? What are you chasing because you genuinely care about it? And what are you chasing because you're afraid of disappointing other people? These questions don't always produce immediate answers, but asking them is often the beginning of real change. Too many people mistake busyness for progress. Every hour is scheduled. Every notification gets answered. Every day feels full, yet very little feels meaningful. Movement is not the same as direction. You can run faster every year and still end up farther away from the life you actually want. Being productive is valuable, but productivity without purpose can become another form of distraction. Imagine spending years climbing a ladder, working harder than everyone around you, making sacrifices, and pushing through every obstacle only to discover that the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. The effort wasn't wasted because you lacked discipline. It was wasted because no one encouraged you to stop and ask whether the destination was worth reaching in the first place. Purpose also changes how you define success. Instead of asking, how much can I earn? You begin asking, what kind of impact do I want to have? Instead of asking, how can I impress people? You ask, how can I become someone I respect? Those questions create different decisions. They influence how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, and what you're willing to sacrifice. When your choices reflect your values, life becomes more consistent. You stop living one version of yourself at work and another at home. You stop pretending to care about things that don't actually matter to you. That kind of alignment creates peace because you're no longer constantly trying to protect an image. You're simply becoming more of who you already are. The goal isn't to eliminate hard days. Every meaningful life includes disappointment, setbacks, uncertainty, and moments of doubt. Purpose doesn't remove struggle. It gives struggle a reason. People can endure incredible challenges when they believe those challenges are leading towards something worthwhile. Without purpose, even small difficulties can feel overwhelming because there's no larger story holding them together. A life you don't want to escape from isn't built by avoiding responsibility or chasing comfort. It's built by making choices that reflect your values, investing your energy in what truly matters, and remembering that fulfillment comes less from what you have and more from why you do what you do. The moment you stop asking how to escape your life and start asking how to make it meaningful, your priorities begin to shift in ways that no vacation, promotion, or temporary distraction ever could. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that the life they want will suddenly appear someday. They imagine that happiness begins after they reach a certain milestone. After they earn more money, after they buy a bigger house, after they find the perfect relationship, after they finally have enough time. The problem with this way of thinking is that it teaches us to postpone living. We become so focused on the future that we stop paying attention to the days that are quietly shaping that future. Your life is not built in the big moments. It's built in the ordinary ones. It's built on a Tuesday morning when you decide whether to wake up with intention or hit the snooze button again. It's built in the conversations you have, the habits you repeat, the thoughts you allow to stay in your mind, and the choices you make when nobody is watching. These small moments may seem insignificant on their own, but together they become the foundation of your future. Many people spend years dreaming about a different life while repeating the same daily routine that keeps them exactly where they are. They want confidence, but they avoid difficult conversations. They want better health, but they continue ignoring their bodies. They want meaningful relationships, but they never make time for the people they love. They want peace of mind, but they fill every quiet moment with distractions. Dreams are important, but dreams without daily action remain nothing more than pleasant ideas. Your days are like bricks. Every decision places another brick into the structure of your life. Most people pay attention only when the building is complete. They notice the stress, the regret, the lack of fulfillment, or the distance between who they are and who they wanted to become. But by that point, those results are simply the outcome of thousands of small choices made over time. The quality of your future depends far more on your daily habits than on your occasional bursts of motivation. This is why discipline matters more than inspiration. Inspiration is powerful, but it comes and goes. Some mornings you'll wake up excited. Other mornings you'll feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. If your actions depend entirely on your emotions, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline allows you to keep moving even when motivation disappears. It turns meaningful intentions into reliable behaviors. Designing your days doesn't mean planning every minute or trying to create a perfect schedule. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected problems will appear. Priorities will change. Challenges will interrupt your plans. Designing your day simply means deciding what deserves your best energy before the world decides for you. It means choosing your priorities instead of constantly reacting to everyone else's demands. Without intention, it's easy to spend an entire day responding to notifications, emails, messages, and endless distractions. Hours disappear without creating anything meaningful. At the end of the day, you're exhausted, yet you struggle to remember what you actually accomplished. Being busy is not the same as being productive. And being productive is not the same as making progress toward the life you truly want. Consider how much influence your environment has on your behavior. If your phone is the first thing you reach for every morning, it begins shaping your attention before you've even had a chance to think for yourself. If every spare moment is filled with scrolling, comparing, or consuming information, your mind rarely gets the opportunity to reflect, create, or grow. The way you begin your day often determines the direction of everything that follows. Small routines have extraordinary power because they remove the need for constant decision-making. When healthy habits become automatic, they no longer require endless willpower. Reading for 20 minutes every day may not seem life-changing, but over several years, it transforms the way you think. Exercising consistently may not produce dramatic results overnight, but it changes your health, your confidence, and your energy. Spending a few minutes each day strengthening important relationships creates trust that cannot be built through occasional grand gestures. The opposite is also true. Small negative habits rarely seem dangerous in the moment. Staying up late one night doesn't seem important. Putting off one difficult conversation feels harmless. Wasting one afternoon appears insignificant. But repeated often enough, these choices quietly become your lifestyle. The greatest risk isn't making one bad decision. It's making the same small decision so many times that it shapes your identity. People often underestimate the power of consistency because they expect immediate results. We live in a culture that celebrates quick success instant gratification, and overnight transformations. But the most meaningful achievements usually grow slowly. Just as a tree develops deep roots long before it becomes tall enough for everyone to notice, lasting personal growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible to others. Designing your days also means protecting what matters most. If something is truly important, it deserves a place on your calendar instead of remaining only on your wish list. Whether it's spending quality time with family, learning a new skill, exercising, praying, reflecting, or working on a meaningful project, what you consistently schedule becomes what you consistently value. Time reveals priorities more honestly than words ever can. There is another reason daily choices matter so much. Every action sends a message to yourself about who you are. When you keep promises to yourself, you build self-respect. When you repeatedly break those promises, you slowly begin doubting your own reliability. Confidence is not created by positive thinking alone. It grows through evidence. Every small commitment you honor becomes proof that you can trust yourself. A meaningful life rarely appears through one life-changing decision. More often, it emerges through hundreds of ordinary decisions that align with your values. Choosing patience instead of anger. Choosing learning instead of comfort. Choosing honesty instead of approval. Choosing presence instead of distraction. These moments rarely attract attention, but they quietly shape the person you become. The future is always being built in the present. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to make choices that